This episode of Shooting Spaces is brought to you by Cloud Pano. Adding more revenue to your business is simple. Offer more value. With cloudpano.com, you can create 360 virtual tours and present them to your clients quickly and efficiently. I have personally been using Cloud Pano for my 360 virtual tours, and I'm extremely happy with the product and the service. It only takes about 5 minutes to create a virtual tour on cloudpano.com, and your clients will be thrilled. Plus, with the active 360 community, you will be constantly supported by fellow digital media entrepreneurs just like you. Join the movement and try cloudpano.com today. Make sure to take advantage of your free 360 demo and pre-sell your first virtual tour client. Then grab a Pro Plus membership. Get started today for free at cloudpano.com.
This is Shooting Spaces with Rich Baum and Brian Berkowitz.
Hello and welcome to Shooting Spaces. This is Brian from New York.
And Rich Baum from Sacramento, California.
And thank you all for tuning in. And what's going on, Rich? How's your winter going?
Living the dream. And actually, it's really, really freaking cold today. And I mean, it's not like you guys, but back east, but it is down to the 40s. And
that's what we got here.
Oh, right. You've been having 70-degree weather out there.
We had 65 last weekend, which was absolutely insane. I went to the park with my kids in the middle of January, but nevertheless, we're back to the cold, and it is cold out here. So
yeah, and I'm just getting ramped up. I'm busy as heck and stoked about it. Really excited.
Yeah,
really
I
excited.
say you're an animal with all the new stuff you're bringing on, and we'll talk about that a little later.
Oh, I'm trying to do my best, That's what we're doing. Yeah. So
cool.
How you doing?
Good. Can't complain. It's, slow time of year, but I'm chugging along and had a couple of shoots this week, and the next couple of weeks get a little slower, but it's all right. I have a lot of ideas and I'm going to start implementing as far as marketing and whatnot. So I'm excited to get into it.
And I've been I've been checking out your work you've been putting out, especially on Instagram. And I want to say you are killing it, and some beautiful work, but just beautiful subjects. I mean, really, really nice. And give your Instagram plug there, Brian.
Brian Berko. Thank you, Rich. Thanks for the plug. Brian Berko on Instagram.
I'm not just saying it. It's good stuff, man. Really good.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate that. Sure. Yeah. Let's get right into it, though, because we have a lot to talk about, and we're going to bring in a guest who we've spoken to before on the podcast, and we've done a webinar with, but we wanted to bring him in as a follow-up to last week's Ask the Guys question, as we felt it was apropos. So I'll just bring him in, and as we get into it, we'll talk about why we brought him on. So Matthew Stallone, thanks for coming on with us again.
Hey, guys. Thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure.
And for those who don't know, I don't know how anyone in this industry doesn't know your Instagram handle, but for those who don't know, where can everyone find you? Because you are the Instagram guru.
They can find me on Instagram at Stallone Media. I also have my YouTube channel and Facebook.
Awesome. And you're based out of Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, Canada, just a little bit north of Toronto, but yeah.
Awesome. And we were
same time zone as you and Brian, so I got the same weather and everything as you, and Rich is crying about cold weather, and I'm like, please, I wish he had his weather.
Yeah, you're a little colder than me.
We're colder, yeah. I'm a lot colder.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
But awesome. First I want to say it was awesome meeting you out in November in Vegas. We've chatted plenty of times before, but it was nice to just chill and hang out and get to know you and, be face to face and hear your input on all the different lectures and everything else. So it was a good time. What were your thoughts on the PFRE conference?
Yeah, that was good times. I have to say ditto on that, because it was fun seeing you guys, meeting you guys in person, and then just hanging out. And I'm still like Rich. I'm still stoked over that whole event. It was really good.
Yeah, I think we ate lunch a couple of times together and everything else, and it was just fun all around, just hanging out with everybody and hearing your side of things up close and personal. And, I know you were taking some pictures of me while we were doing some interviews you sent over to me. So it was good having you there. I think you were sitting like 10 feet from our booth. So it was a fun time.
Yeah. And it was great to meet you too.
I think I had a cough attack, and I hope I didn't interrupt you guys. I couldn't stop coughing at the event.
I vaguely remember.
Was that you? Oh man.
Yeah,
I vaguely remember that, but Anyhow, and you are also now a podcast host. Is that correct?
I just started. It's been something I've been talking about for a while, and finally kind of came around to putting it together. So yeah, it's work in progress, as you guys know. It's fun, but at the same time, coming up with different things. We're changing up our scenes and our background a little bit, bringing in different guests, and just having fun with it.
Yeah, speaking of backgrounds, you always seem to impress with your sets. I remember for those of you who watched our Twilight webinar with Matt, you came in with all these different multicolored LED lights, purple in the background, and all this. So, I give you credit. You definitely have upped to your production value versus what Rich and I do. Rich and I are just in our offices, and you can see all our junk in our background. And,
is that a blue screen or green screen back there, Matthew?
No, this is actually a monitor that I have that we're using now. We have a green screen that's actually behind this that we use when we need to, but we found it a lot easier just to have the TV behind us, and it's a little bit less editing. So, and we can put pretty much what we want on it too.
Cool. So if anybody wants to listen, why don't you just give a quick plug to your website, your podcast website, so people can take a listen, and just a quick minute on what I guess the podcast is about. I know you interviewed a lot of real estate agents, so as of now, it's geared a little more to the agent side of things.
Yeah, so I mean, the website is StalloneMediaPodcast.com. You can find it on Apple, Google. You can find it on Spotify, and basically, it's called Coffee Talk with Stallone. So I tell my guests, you have to bring the coffee. I'll ask the questions, and we just have a conversation. Right now, it's been few of my clients that are real estate agents, and I'll ask them questions, kind of like, what do you do in a situation when you have couples that are divorced, and or how do you handle your marketing and different things like that. I had a guest on last week, which is coming out next week. He's a sportscaster, and he's really trying to get himself out there. He's on YouTube. He's doing a really great job. And I have a home builder, and I have some different people that come in. Then I'm going to have you guys hopefully soon on my podcast as well, so I can ask you guys some questions.
Awesome.
Well, virtual coffee.
No, that should be a topic of its own episode. The divorced situations, because I've had a few of them in my own business, and it's a headache. It's nothing but a headache. So,
well, you guys run through it too when you're shooting houses, and you hear from the agent, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the agent has to have me come back 2 or 3 times because this person doesn't want to get out of the house, and it's just a disaster.
Yeah, it's such a nuisance. Yeah, it's a disaster. And that's just from our end. I'm asking them kind of like what they go through on their end, trying to have to negotiate deals.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I'm looking forward to having some virtual coffee with you on your podcast. So when that comes out, we'll let everybody know.
Set it up
to your podcast. Cool. And then, for those who don't know, we did the Twilight webinar with you a couple months back at this point. That was fun. Where we did a full edit from start to finish with both you, Rich, and Matthew, and you guys have both a very distinct and unique and different, for that matter, shooting style as far as your Twilights are concerned, where Rich, you just do single exposure, and Matthew, you kind of light paint everything. So it was cool to actually go in and see those edits. And, there was one guy who messaged me the other day who was doing his first Twilight session, and he had some questions for me, and I'm like, I'm not the Twilight guy. Go speak to Rich or Matthew, or just take a look at the webinar, because there's a lot of good, useful info there. But that was a fun night.
I have to say, it was at the event when I was down there, I had a couple people that actually purchased the webinar, and they came up to me and they said, it was a great webinar. I loved it. It was able to help them kind of with their Twilights, which is awesome. And then looking at what they actually did and what they came out of it, as you know, Rich, it's a really rewarding feeling, right?
It is. It's amazing when someone just turns around and takes the information you put out there and can turn it into their own thing, but do so well, and you compare the two. It's amazing. Sometimes education, coaching, workshops, webinars, things like that, they can really get you going, boost you up further than just like going on the internet. But it was really good. And I met so many people that have been helped by you and I and Brian and everybody and at the conference, PFRE conference. So can't wait to go next year. I'm sure you're going to be there next year, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you could be a sponsor, Coffee Talk sponsor. Awesome. That's great.
I'm planning.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm talking with Brandon, the organizer, next week or this weekend, and we're going to discuss a few ideas that he's got that I might be able to help out at the conference, and it's going to be exciting. I can't wait. I think it's going to morph and go in a direction that will be really great. So
do his ideas involve a harmonica?
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. It's only for the people that were there.
I hope he, yeah. And if they weren't there, you should. I think where there's video, isn't there some video on Facebook that shows you doing it?
No, it got destroyed.
Yeah. What happened in Vegas stayed in Vegas.
No, on our Facebook page, it's there. It's there. You can go and watch it.
Actually, I did a lot of playing down in Mexico for Christmas, and I'm getting my chops back for PFRE 2. So yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool stuff. All right. So let's get into it. The reason, Matt, we wanted to bring you on, last week we had a question from Marcel Lecours out of Miami, Florida, and he asked us about just being a photographer versus adding additional services, whether it's drone or 360 or video or floor plans or Matterport, whatever else it is. We had a short episode last week. I think the episode was 20 minutes. So Rich and I didn't really delve into it as much as we probably should have. So we thought it's a good idea to bring you on because the three of us have very differing perspectives on it, even though we all are kind of in the same boat. I do offer a ton of services, but I'm a one-man shop. I do everything myself. Matthew, you offer a ton of services, but you have a team that works with you. And Rich, up until recently, you were just a photographer. And I know you started adding...
Just a photographer? Oh, no. I was basically doing still shots. He said I didn't want to do moving pictures and things like that. So
yes. So, but up until recently, you started adding 360. And up until the last couple of days, I saw you decided you wanted to start tackling video. So now you're doing this as well. And I know you're studying for your Part 107 too. So you're at the point where now I think you realize the importance of starting to add additional services. So just to start off, Matthew, what services beyond photography do you offer?
Well, we pretty much were, my slogan on my website is one call, we do it all. Now, when I first started, it was just photography. And then we kind of started, morphing into doing drones. Then we started getting into floor plans. And, we just kept building it up because people were asking us for the services, but it was kind of like, well, we can do this, but we can't do that. And then they would call, to go somebody else to get it done. So I figured I could do it. It's just a matter of how much I could do personally myself. And that's where I started taking on a little bit less and less and just hiring people to kind of help me with it. So that being said, we do brochures, we do print, we do marketing. We've added social media to it as well. The drone, the 3D 360, we do the iGuide system. So we pretty much do everything that an agent needs. We actually even have a stager that we refer. We kind of have a package together. So if they want it, we can actually refer the stager.
A real stager, not a virtual.
A real stager. Yeah, that's all she does. So that it's kind of been one of those things where as we've grown and we've added these services, we've also added team members to the business. One is to be efficient and the other one is to not kind of burn out. And that's the biggest thing that was starting to happen. You're staying up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, doing edits. And then you go to the next day and you're trying to do 6 or 7 shoots. When I say that I'm doing photos, videos, drone, then we get into the marketing and it's like, it was starting to get way too much. So that's pretty much where I decided to start hiring some staff.
And did you, so when you're doing staging, you're just trying to offer these services to your clients. And I've never heard of a photographer offering staging. It's just interesting concept.
Yeah, because what was happening is it works two ways, because a stager would refer me to clients that she would get to say, I have a photographer, and then I would do the same thing and say, well, we have a stager that we like to work with. And we kind of aligned our businesses so that she refers me, I refer her. We share each other, business. We try to get more work. It ended up working out well because, she does really, really great work. And when she refers any of her business to us, you know, a lot of her clients have been satisfied with what we offer. So it's been a win-win situation overall.
So it's a referral thing. She's not an employee of your company. She's just you're working together to refer. No. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I understand now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
great. Yeah, how's that going? Yes. You're getting a lot of calls for the staging and all
new
the
leads.
Stuff?
Yeah, you know, it's new leads. It's new ways of generating revenue from different sources. And the best way I feel to generate new sources is to work with people that are in this like-minded industry, right? And the same thing, you know, we have painters that I know, because, you know, that gets kind of a common thing where they'll say, I need a painter. Do you know anybody? So I'll have a painter that I refer out, and, you know, he'll do like a referral fee type of thing. So whenever we could try to align ourselves with good people that do good work, then it's a win-win for everybody.
Great.
Well, let me ask you, what point, you said you started off doing just photography and then you graduated into adding more services. So at what point and how did you come to the realization where, and maybe even why did you come to that realization where I want to start adding, you know, I guess drone, you said, was the first thing you started adding. And I guess drone kind of aligns a little more with photography than the other services. But at what point did you say to yourself, all right, I think I need to do more than just photography, and this is why?
It started with wanting to set myself apart from other companies that are out there. So the first thing that I did when I was doing the photography was doing flash. I never did HDR. Everything that I did was always flash photography. So the first kind of thing that I said was, I'm going to make sure my pictures are a little bit better than what the other companies are doing. I'm going to charge a different rate, which was a little difficult at the beginning because, you know, a lot of the realtors are used to kind of a cheaper price, and they just want to spend $100 or whatever it is to get it done. And here I am coming in at $200, $250, and they're like, well, you know, why should I spend that kind of money? So it took a long time to kind of show them and understand why it's important. And then adding the drone was just that bonus, because at the time when drone was out, not a lot of people had it. I was already a hobbyist. I already had a few drones that I was flying. So I said, well, this is awesome. You know, I started out with having a drone that you could, with the GoPro on it, right? And you can take pictures and do video. And then it kind of started saying, well, a lot of these other companies don't do video. So why don't I add that service? And again, set myself apart from a lot of other companies. What ended up happening was, clients were coming up to us and saying, you know, we love the fact that you do photos and you do videos and you do drone. I can just call you and you take care of everything. And that's kind of when the light bulb went off. And I'm like, well, yeah, it makes it more convenient for you. And the more convenient you make it for your clients, the more they're going to just call you and say, just do everything. Convenience and service, as you know, is pretty much where you're going to get add-on services for all of your business.
Combined with reliability.
That's kind of where it went from. Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, sorry?
No, I just think that it's so important. It all, to make it a one-stop shop where they don't have to look for someone else to do anything is a great thing. And to be able to follow everything up, though, once you start spreading yourself thin, that's kind of the hard part, is key, especially when you add on people, is keeping reliability, keeping consistency. You know, it's something I like to tell newer photographers. Your work is great if you're doing it 100% of the time. So that's it.
Yeah. Well, you know, and as you know, what happens is the realtors are comfortable with you and they trust you and they want you to be there and to do everything. So one of the hurdles that I had to get them away from was understanding that my team is a reflection of myself, and I've taught them, and they're great at what they do. And they're passionate about doing what they do. So helping them along the way and getting them to the point of shooting the exact same style that I do was beneficial, because then the realtor felt comfortable whether they went with me or whether they went with one of my team members, which was so important. Then obviously, just like you said, Rich, you know, making sure that the service is still the same, making sure you're on time, making sure that everything quality and everything stands up, which is one of the hurdles that a lot of people have when they start hiring new staff members or, you know, try to help out with a team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I think that the fact of the matter is, nowadays, with all these services available and agents want them, they will hire somebody. And if you're not offering it, they're going to hire somebody else. So first of all, like you said, it's making it more inconvenient for them to have to call somebody else. And then it's money lost out of your pocket by not being able to offer it to them,
100%.
because you're on site anyway. You know, that's how I got into the Matterport, and that's even how I got into the drone originally a couple of years back, was because, you know, my agent clients were saying to me, we want to start using drones on some of our properties, you know, and I shoot bigger properties. So they really want the drones for the, you know, to show the size of, you know, however many acres it is, whatever it is. So I said, all right, I got to go out and get my Part 107, or I don't know what you have there in Canada. I guess it's something similar.
It's very similar, yeah.
And do it, because if I don't do it, they're going to hire somebody else to do it, and they're going to pay somebody else.
And that other
pay me.
Right, but also, Brian, you have to be careful, because that other person that they hire could also start doing videos or photography, and then next thing you know, they're just like, well, I'll just go to that person because they do it all.
Yeah, and they're cheaper than me because I'm not the cheapest.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, for sure. So I mean, that's the sole reason that I started doing this stuff, and yeah, it's paid off. I mean, I don't know for nearly as much as you. I don't even dive into the real estate. I don't do any of the print design, none of that stuff. But just the basic, you know, drone video. I barely do video, but I do offer it if it comes in, the drone video photography, and the Matterport, if people want. It's enough to, you know, keep the clients that I have staying with me and not have them have to look for other people.
Yeah, I think you got to look at the big picture. You know, it's not the individual things to me. It's the overall. It's also like, if a client has this amount of work, I might be inclined to do something different, do something cheaper, whatever. I just look at the overall. I mean, I don't have one price for everything. It's really on an individual case. But my situation might be very unique. But I've been finding that really is, especially for my really busy agents, my number one agents, they are so busy that they just don't want to have the hassle. So I am including video, I'm including 360s, I'm including a lot of things into what I can offer, because the last thing I want them to do is to just go, well, I can get, maybe their work isn't as good, but I can go to this guy and he's doing video also. So by my own accord, I'm doing it because I really saw the writing on the wall, and I said, I got to take this under my wing and just make it my own. So,
well, that's what I was going to ask you, Rich. You know, up until recently, you were just offering photography, and only in the last few months, I think, what is it, 3-4 months, you started doing 360, and now 2020, you're starting to do video. So what changed for you over the last 6-7 months where you said, all right, I have to start bringing these other services in?
The 360 was all because of a new home builder I'm shooting for. We're shooting a lot of the homes that were destroyed in Santa Rosa, California, a couple of years ago. And he came up, their draftsman came, their computer guy came up with the idea of sticking 360s in windows of virtual renderings and doing walkthroughs like that. So I got into the 360 thing, and it was kind of by that way. And I'm actually offering it to several of my realtors, because they thought, they weren't really going to do it on their own, but I'm doing it so cheap because these new, it's not Matterport, these new 360, the Ricoh camera, it takes me 10 minutes to shoot a 2,500 square foot house. And I almost don't even have to charge for it. I just charge because I got to charge something. I don't want to be giving it away. But and then the video is my main agent for the last 10 years. She just became a broker, and she has always said, watch out, Rich. And when I'm a broker, I'm taking you with me. I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard that before. And she became a broker, and just before the end of the year, and she wants video on almost all of her listings. So I've got to do it, mainly because I sub it out to a friend of mine, but he's not always available. And that trying to get their schedule to work with your schedule, it brings the stuff that the agents don't want to hear. So I got to do that. And that's just what I did. And I figure I've got till the middle of February, and I'm going to be up and running on doing videos. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I'm going to probably sub out all my editing, and in the process of dealing with cameras and gimbals and stuff like that. But I've made movies most of my life, so I can hopefully figure it out. But just going to add that to that.
You have another, added downfall to doing video. Now you have to, obviously buy a different equipment. Eventually you're going to have to buy, more hard drive space to handle all kinds of the video footage that you're getting. So just adding the video portion of the business, there's just so many other elements that kind of come along with it. We literally just upgraded and added another 6 terabyte of hard drive space because, you just keep gathering these videos and the more 4K videos, like we do, most of the stuff we do is in 4K, even though, you're only watching it in 1080, but we always like to shoot it in 4K, but it just adds up a lot of additional cost and expense. But I've been saying this for the last 5 years. Video is the content king. You'll hold people's attention longer. Realtors will benefit more from doing video than just photos. So that's kind of the main reason why I decided to put video into it.
I got to sell that idea, but I'll be honest with you, Matthew. I've been talking to a few photographers that got really into video, and they're not, their clients aren't liking it or using it, and it's not benefiting them in the way that they had hoped. So I'm not saying I know why that is, but there's maybe it's different up where you are, but I'm not doing it. I'll be honest with you. I'm probably not going to do it on very many of my real estate shoots with anybody but this one agent, but I will be doing it on certain projects down in Mexico and certain projects probably for these new home builds. But I'm not sure yet. I'm just going to figure it out. And as far as space, I mean, space is cheap, and I don't mind. 6 terabytes. What's that cost? About $12.50. So I'm kind of like excited about doing it and offering it to an editor. So as soon as I get rid of that, it goes out, and I don't have to deal with it again. So.
Yeah, based on what both of you just said, I'm actually surprised because I agree with you, Matthew, that video, and I'm actually surprised, or out here on Long Island at least, it just hasn't taken off, probably similar to you, Rich, like it should have, and I don't get it. And I try to push it on my agents, and my, one of my biggest agents who does Matterport said she'd rather have the Matterport than video, and I don't get it because, well, I charge Matterport by square footage, and the houses are so big, and I'm charging her a fortune. Video would be cheaper for her.
Yep.
And they should rather have the Matterport. Well, it's the interactive element.
There's a couple of guys, colleagues that they work. One's, 2 of them actually in California, and there's one guy I know that's in New York. And these guys are putting out video. There's one realtor that's in California, Laguna Beach. You guys can look him up. His name's Tim Smith, and the company that's doing all of his videos, I forgot the name of it at the top of my head, but
it's the most American name I've ever heard.
He is doing some like above and beyond regular kind of real estate videos, which he's doing more lifestyle, more kind of Hollywood style videos.
Laguna Beach.
But we're talking about, but we're talking about productions that are, $10,000 to $15,000 in video production. They also do some smaller types of videos, but a lot of these guys and the guys in the States, their money making machine is from video, not from photos. So when you actually look at the service of what you charge for video versus photos, you'll make more money on video than you will on photos. So adding it as a service,
it just depends.
Well, it depends on your client basis that you have.
Yeah, exactly. So
and what you produce, right? What you produce.
Well, it's we've all seen those videos down in Laguna Beach and San Diego, and that's a whole different thing. I'm in Sacramento, and I'm mostly doing 2 to 400,000 to 1.2 million is like my daily stuff. And, it's just, I'm going to, I'm hoping that I feel the same way, because it could be an exciting new thing for me. And I'm just, overwhelmed right now with trying to learn the technology of it, but I'm going to see how it works. We'll talk in 6 months at PFRE conference, and I'll tell you how the video's going. Cause it could certainly be that agent, she changes her mind and just goes, it didn't give me what I needed or what I wanted. She's just grasping for something to add to her brand and make and because other agents are including video. But honestly, we worked all day. My friend Martin and myself did all day, and we talked. And he's like, I do some videos, but we're not doing videos on every. He's not doing videos on everything. So we'll see though. Yeah, and it's a work in progress.
What I think goes along with that, and this is easy for you, Matthew, because you do social media for a lot of your realtors, is knowing what to do with the video after it's done.
Exactly.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of these agents don't know what
they don't know
those videos. But let's say you're in a situation like yourself where you're actually, managing these social media profiles for some of these clients as well. You know what to do with these videos. So they see a greater benefit where, if I produce a video for my client, I proof it to them on Vimeo, for instance, or wherever it is. And it doesn't go past that. They don't even do anything with it. They post, they'll cut out a 30-second or minute clip of the video to post to Instagram, and that's it. Like, no, the video doesn't do anything for them. So I think it's a matter of not only education, because I don't really know, to be honest, the marketing side of things of where to put the videos and where to get it out there. But I think that plays a big role into it, is knowing what to do with the videos after they're delivered, and then they'll see a bigger benefit to it.
Just remember, just to touch on something, I can tell you from experience from what my clients tell me, I have realtors that will actually win listings over other realtors because they show how much more marketing they give in their presentation versus another agent that just does photos. So for a home seller looking to get as much as they can, they need to get as much marketing out there as possible. When they start seeing these videos that are being produced, they go onto YouTube, they go onto Instagram, they go onto Facebook, and they see the amount of work that's involved. It's a no-brainer for them. That's like, I definitely want to go with this agent because he's giving me a lot more than what, agent B is giving me. And on the flip side of it, realtors that do a lot more of that marketing and video presentation are getting and winning more listings just because of the weight of the viral content that they're putting out there. So you're not going to get all realtors. I have some realtors that just hate video just because they hate it. They're shy to be on it. They don't want to be a part of it. They don't want to spend the extra money. They don't see the value. But I can tell you, a lot of them are starting to realize they're losing listings to other realtors that are providing it.
Yeah, I wish there was a way I can grab hold of Long Island and just tell everybody video.
Well, here's another thing, guys. You know the new app that's been out for a while. It's called TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so TikTok, they had 1.5 billion downloads. TikTok is strictly, mostly, I'm going to say 95% video based. What does that tell you? Instagram is photos, and then they got into doing video. They added the video portion of it. But they're losing ground because TikTok allows you to do so much more video editing and add music, which, you're not able to use the music that you can on TikTok on Instagram. For some reason, it just doesn't work. But there's so much more cool things that you can do with TikTok as a software program to create these really cool videos and effects. And it's blowing up because, again, I keep saying video. That's how you gain people's attention. That's how you get people to follow you, because you're providing good content. Rich, you do YouTube videos. There's a reason for it, right? So there's no difference for me in doing videos for real estate or doing videos for YouTube. Video is how you get people's attention and you hold on to it. And that's why what we're doing right now. You guys do podcasts, but when I first met you, you guys weren't doing video podcasts, and then you added it on. So it's an element of adding kind of a little bit of everything.
This episode is brought to you by HD Photo Hub. With modern marketing tools for your clients and a powerful back office to help you stay organized and efficient, HD Photo Hub is the secret weapon of successful real estate photographers everywhere. When you register with promo code Shooting Spaces, you'll get a free total marketing kit for your first property. Check them out at hdphotohub.com. HD Photo Hub, where great photos become powerful marketing. That's hdphotohub.com.
Brian, you really you hit it for me. It's how you get the client to understand. And part of my problem is I don't really understand it that well. And you, Matthew, understand it very well, but that's kind of what you're, kind of your thing. You're into Instagram, you're into, you're into that, and you're into trying new things. The key is going to be how to have my clients value and understand. And I now, along with, I'm going to be having to learn how to shoot it, how to edit it, whatever. And I'm going to have to learn how to promote it and how to make it work for them. And it's all these things to monetize. It's a whole new thing now. It's like, you just can't be fine sitting back and doing what you were doing. You got to do these new things which engage people in social media. And I'm going to hopefully this agent will have in her new brokerage, will have somebody that is like-minded and can work in the social media aspect. So maybe I can work along with them, and we can then get to this agent what she's looking for, but she doesn't know quite how to call it or what to say about it, but she knows she needs to do things, and she's got this new brokerage. So I think I've just got to identify a way of getting that information.
I have an answer for you. Rich.
Hire you.
Go. No, I'm telling you, this is so easy. All you have to do, go to Instagram, look at any post that people put. You can go to my Instagram if you want. Yep. And what you're going to find, if you look at my photos, let's just say on one of my photos, I'm going to say 800 likes. You look at one of my videos that I posted, there have 3,000, 4,000, 10,000, 8,000 views. So I'm not getting the 5, 6, 8,000 likes, but I'm getting a lot more views because, again, video is gathering people's attention for longer. As people swipe, they actually stop to see what the video is.
Likes don't correlate to impressions, meaning that doesn't mean that 10,000 people didn't see your picture just because they didn't like it.
No, but if you look at how many, like if you actually look at your algorithm and all the stats that come up on your Instagram, you can actually see their interaction between the video portion and the photo portion in terms of impressions, and also is engagement. And if you look at the engagement level and the impression levels, the videos are always a lot higher than the photos. So, I mean, you could just show them that alone, and that will...
But obviously the engagement is longer because it's a different format. An image is there, and you look at it, and you're done.
Swipe, and
a video, right. of course. And so here's the deal, though. I need to internalize this and understand it better. So where do you recommend that knowing you know a little bit about what I know, pretty much the level, I'm kind of down here, you're up here, but what would you suggest? Is there a podcast, or is there an article or somebody that you'd recommend, or a book that you can read that I could read that would help me to better understand how to monetize from the video, and then to internalize that, make it my own, and teach it to my clients?
Off the top of my head, there is a link that I will send you. I don't know what it is right now, but there is a link that actually shows your engagement level between video and photos, and how important video, and I found this like 3 years ago, and how important video is in comparison to photos. And I'm going to send that, you guys, Brian, I can send it to you after. You can add it onto the link here and put it into the show notes. And that's kind of, like I said, when I did this 5 years ago, Rich, to answer your question about getting that, interest in having, how do you tell a broker or how do you tell an agent? When I started doing videos and started doing flash photography and doing all that stuff, ultimately you just actually have to do it, present something, do something different, do something outside of the book. We started doing some cool, we actually just finished one today. I'm going to be posting for our podcast. I wished I had posted it before. We just literally finished it. I'm going to post it after the show. You guys can see it. But we're starting to do some different things where we're adding some cool visual effects.
By the time this releases, it'll be live then. So.
It will. As soon as I'm done with this show, I'm going to be posting it. Okay. But that's what you have to do. You have to do something different so that the realtors see.
You're trying, you're going the extra length.
Yeah. And you're going to stand out. That's the biggest thing. All realtors want to stand out. It's up to you to get them to stand out and figure out what's best for you in your market, your industry.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when we've recently been dealing with all these Zillow, Facebook, and Zillow Boost and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's how to understand, when I finally understood how the Zillow Boost works and how it can help a client, and we were able to actually see it and see the graph and see what happens. So this is just another thing. So I learned about the 360, and it's pretty much what I think we're all going to have to start doing. You got to start learning about things, incorporating new things, and just seeing how you can turn it into getting your client to believe in what you're doing, and then being able to do it and not and make money at it. So it's just one of the new things. So I'm really excited about it.
There's one guy here I can tell you guys. He has a business that is a juice business. Okay, he takes carrots and celeries, and he makes juices, really healthy, really good drinks. He makes videos on a daily basis, and he makes funny videos, and he makes videos that have everything that he has to do has to somehow integrate with his juice company. He does such an awesome job marketing and branding this company that he has in the juice and all these videos, that most of his stuff, just goes viral and goes crazy. And there's so much interaction and comments. And a lot of realtors are trying to do the same thing, because that's where it's getting to. You have to do something different.
Yeah.
But it takes time. It takes money. Obviously, it's more money for us because it takes more time to shoot. It takes more time to edit. It takes more time to be creative. And you're only going to have maybe 2% of realtors that are going to spend that kind of money.
I have an interesting question for you, Matthew, and would love to hear your opinion on this. A lot of, or most of us, or most of the people I think that are listening, and I know the three of us in particular, we got into this industry because we enjoyed it. We were photographers, and we loved shooting pictures. Yep. So what do you say to the people that get into this because they're photographers and they enjoy taking pictures, versus having to become a businessman and then actually start offering all this stuff that they don't want to do? It's not in it for, they're doing it because they know they have to stay up with competition, but this is not what they signed up for when they got into being a real estate or an interior photographer.
That is a great question, Brian. And I'm going to tell you, the simple answer is, I'm not, who am I to say what you should do and what you shouldn't do? I'm only going to give you advice on what has worked for me. There's nothing wrong with, if you want to strictly just do photography and specialize in that and become awesome at what you do. But I feel what's going to happen is you're going to find some pain in getting more and more work, because if it's in the real estate side, a lot of other companies are starting to offer all these different services.
Yeah. If you don't do it, somebody else will.
Exactly. So if you're looking to get into the real estate photography side of it, it's no longer real estate photography. I hate to say that, but what it is now is it's real estate marketing. You need to become a marketing machine, a marketing company. That's the bottom line. If you want to do strictly photography for interior designers, then stay away from real estate. Don't get involved in it, and just focus on getting your interior design, or architects, or builders, whatever the case is, and stay focused on that path. If you want to just do videos, then stay focused on that path. I chose to get into the real estate side of it. I do a number of different things because I'm able to. We do interior design shoots. We do videos for promotion for companies. We do a variety of things. But ultimately, what I like to say is we've become more of a marketing branding company than just a photography real estate company. I don't know if that answered your question, but
no, it does. And in my personal situation, it kind of works exactly how what you said is, from the real estate side of things, I had to start adding services to stay competitive,
to keep up,
and to keep myself in business. But like you said, shooting for interior designers or architects or other type of stuff, that's where it allows me to do what I love doing and be the photographer. When I go out, I don't offer video for architects, right? Even though I have done one before, which is a little strange, but
they don't really ask for it, right?
They don't really ask for it.
Exactly.
It's not common, but that's where I get my passion for shooting in, and allows me to deliver a different type of work. Rich, you were referring to some of the stuff you've been seeing on Instagram. It's different than I would ever, deliver to a real estate client.
Exactly.
Because they just, the work I'm doing now for them wouldn't work in real estate. It's just not that same thing. So, I kind of define my style and get my passion for shooting out in the interior design stuff, and my real estate stuff now I just look at strictly as a business. It's not, I'm not doing it because I love shooting real estate, even though I do enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but this is
just filling now.
Exactly. This is my marketing business, and I have to go out and I shoot, and I do Matterport, I do drone, I do video when requested, and I do 360 now when requested. Because I have also the Z1. I don't do it often, but I do when requested. So I look at it, like you said, a marketing machine, if you want to call it that, from my real estate perspective. And I get that, I fulfill that need that I have to go out and just, make art, if you want to call it that.
Right. I love the fact, honestly, like, I won't say I'm jealous. I am a little bit, but if I could just work with interior designers, and that's kind of the path that I've been trying to get myself towards. And that's why I have my team now that I've kind of built up, because I want my team to handle and deal with the everyday in and outs of real estate. It's kind of come redundant. I like to only kind of now work more on the higher end luxury homes where I can take my time. Remember at the conference, Tony, right? He's like, just slow the fuck down. That's what we're trying to do. So having my team being able to handle a lot of that workload has been great, because now it allows me to focus and take a little bit more time and work with designers and work with architects and do that different part of the business that I also love. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Rich, but a lot of interior design photographers, they start off that way, and then there's really not that much work, and they need to find something to supplement their income. So they'll get into real estate photography because it's kind of like a volume thing. Whereas the other side, you have a lot of guys that are doing real estate photography and it's a volume business, but now they want to kind of get more into the higher end, just doing interior design work, which is very hard to kind of get your foot in the door, right? So, you know, again, you got to kind of decide what avenue you want to go down. We've turned into more of a marketing media company than I would just say a photography company.
You know, it's really, I know for the three of us here, we're not 100% where we want to be, but you know what? We're having a great time what we're doing, and we're all going towards an area.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing a lot of different things coming up in the next 2 years, and I will be phasing out, but my situation's different. I'm not a new guy coming up in the business, and I don't have 30 more years. I've got to get my business and going. But I will say that when you see, you're saying people that want to do real estate, whatever, there's so many people coming into these groups. There's so many people that are watching my videos. There's so many people coming in. There's so many wedding photographers. Wedding photography saturated the F out. And they are finding, well, I've got to make some money and do something. So, I can do real estate photography. And the best part about that is if everyone that wanted to do real estate, come into the groups, had plans to do it, and then get there and realize it's a lot harder than they think, and it's not the cup of tea they thought. I had one person reply to an image, yeah, but it's just a freaking kitchen, and I'm like, you try and shoot this kitchen. But the bottom line is, not everybody that's coming in, and there are dozens and dozens and dozens, hundreds of people every day trying to come into the real estate photography business from not being photographers or being wedding photographers or sports or babies, you name it. And so it's not going to change. So you got to figure out what you're going to do, and you got to figure out how much you're going to make and what you're going to charge. And then you figure it out. And if you need to, you're going to do, you're going to have to do your design photography. But that's the hard thing too, is it's just like design photography. And Brian, you're the best one here to talk about that, but it's hard to get, it's a trick to get your clients. You got to get the experience. You got to get the portfolio. You got to, I'm there, but
they have to get
I'm certainly not doing the work. I'm not getting the work that you're doing or the high end stuff that you're doing, Brian. So,
look, it's been a long progression, and I feel like you, Rich, have been along for the ride for the last 2 years as I slowly progress there. But look, for me, for real estate, I'm different than you, Matthew. I'm not a volume shooter. I never was, And I think
me neither.
I think you're in a little bit more of a similar boat than I am, Rich. As I always was more of a boutique shooter. I always charged a little more. I always shot a lot less. And because of that, when I was doing real estate, I'm still doing real estate, but not as much as I used to. Right. It allowed me to get those higher end homes, and I'm shooting a lot of these homes that are 2 million and above. Right. And that kind of what it was somebody up here for me, maybe it was Scott, who said, when you're on these real estate homes, take a couple extra minutes for yourself and just shoot some stuff. And if I look through my interior design or architectural portfolio now, there's a couple of images in there where they were just real estate shoots that I was hired to go out on a real estate shoot, and I shot it, and the stuff looks great, and I put it in my interior design portfolio. So it's a slow progression. It's a lot of work. And I'm just at the beginning stages of it, but you put it in, you get there, put the work in.
Yeah,
very true.
The other thing, so, kind of talking about standing out and doing something different. So as you guys know, I just opened up a studio, and the reason why I got into getting some space, because I really didn't need it. Most freelance real estate photographers work out of their house. So the reason why I decided to get a studio now was because a lot of the stuff that I want to do now, especially evolving around video aspect, I needed a studio in order to have people obviously come over and shoot it and whatnot. So what we've actually created now is a studio space, not only for myself, but I've created a studio space for my clients. So now my clients can actually come, rent out the space from us, we'll shoot the videos for them. They can decide to either edit it themselves or we'll edit it for them. but I can give them the high-end quality, video work. I can give them the high-end quality audio work. And then obviously we have the editing side of it we can also provide them. Realtors love it because they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the equipment, they don't have the facility. Well, we just created all of that for them. And again, additional service that we've just added, but trying to get them to get more into the social media video aspect, I needed to do that. So that's what we did.
And I think that's going to be great for you to bring on new clients that you're not working with, because other new clients are going to hear, oh, check out Stallone Media. They got this studio where you can go to and get some of your social media stuff done. They're going to come to you, and then once they're by you at your studio shooting social media stuff, you lock them up as a client. That's it.
Right.
You got them in. That was the hardest part, was getting them into your door. And once they're in, even if it's just to record some social media videos at your studio.
Even podcasts, Brian. I have clients asking me, say, I want to do a podcast. Can I use your studio? Yeah, come on by. We'll let you use the space, rent it out for me for the hourly rate. We'll use our equipment. And you're
Brian,
all set to go.
You and I will go up to Canada. Let's do it.
That's not a bad idea. I don't think we've ever recorded an official podcast together. So,
getting back to, there's no one else doing what I'm doing right now. So I get trying to stand out and do something different for a lot of this business and realtors and builders and everybody else who wants to kind of start creating content. Let me just create a space for you.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's to sum up everything we've talked about, I think that's the end game here is technology keeps changing, and
you got to adapt.
If we're going to be marketing machines, we got to just keep latching on and offering what's out there, because, like you said, Rich, you're doing 360s now. Who knows if you're going to be doing 360s in a year or two? That might not be such a thing. So, as new technologies come out, you figure out a way to adapt that into what we do, and you offer it and try to get everyone in as quick as you can, because I guess everything is phases. So just get it in. The whole industry, I guess, is cyclical in terms of everything that we're offering as far as services. So who knows what's going to come out soon? Who knows what's going to fade? Maybe no one will use drones in 2 years. Who the hell knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
So
50% of the jobs in the next 10 years haven't been invented yet. And we will see this in every market, in every job. And we will you won't even know what we're going to be doing in 3 years, man. You don't know what the hard drive's going to be. It's just going to blow everybody's mind, and I'm going to go off grid. That's it. I'm out of here.
I think, Brian, the only thing I wanted to maybe mention, because when you asked me about coming on the show and, expanding my business and stuff, I think the one thing I just want to reiterate to everybody that's listening, because I get a question, at the conference, I got a lot of questions like, Matthew, I know that you've expanded, you hired team members. How did you do it? How do you handle it? It's not easy. Listen, there's a lot of stress that's involved with it as well. There's a lot of additional costs and expenses. But what I try to tell people is do baby steps. Do what you really, really need first. And then from there, just slowly kind of work to say, okay, I can add this or I can add that. You can't do it all at once. I didn't have anything that happened all at once. I had one girl that worked with me. She came right out of college. She finished and I hired her, and she's been with me for 5 years now. I just recently hired a video editor to be with me full time, because I couldn't stay up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and it didn't allow me to go out and get other business. So I can trust that he can take care of that side of it and build that side of the business up. I hired a marketing team just to in-house to take care of all that aspect. So it's just baby steps. Just pick and choose what you need right now. It might probably just be a photography assistant. It might be a videographer, and just go at it slowly. Just baby steps.
Great. Good closing. Good. We're going to have to wrap it up, but great closing sentiments there, Matthew.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So Matthew, I want to thank you for coming on, and to Marcel, who asked this question originally. Hope we expanded a little bit on your original question over the 15 or 20 minutes we went through last week. And I know we went off on some tangents, but I think Rich has got to take that call. But I think the moral of the story is, I think from a real estate perspective, I think it's a good business decision to start adding more services and become, to use your term, Matthew, a marketing machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have to be a little more like Matthew Stallone.
No, you just got to do it. Follow your path. Do what you want to do. If you want to just take photos, do photos. If you just want to, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you got to be happy. And look, we're all in an industry where we actually love what we do, and we're not a desk job, you know.
I'm not complaining at all.
I was talking to my Uber driver today. I was in an Uber because I was in Manhattan shooting, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was explaining to him. He's like, "That must be awesome." And I'm like, "You know what? It is awesome. I'm here in the middle of the day in an Uber talking to you, taking me to the train station to go home at 11:30 in the morning." So
you can be there for your kids whenever you want. You could take days off, take as much vacation as you want.
All I have to do is this. If my finger breaks, I'm out of career. That's it. Well, I could use my iPad tether.
Your iPad now.
You need your vision too.
Great. Oh, yeah. Great stuff.
I knew a photographer about 10 years ago who got the LASIK eye surgery, and it backfired on her, and she lost like 40% of her vision, and she couldn't shoot anymore.
Wow.
So yeah, if you're a photographer that wants to get that, I'm not saying it won't work, but do some research. Do something, make sure you learn all the facts. So anyway, thank you, Matthew, for coming on. It's been a pleasure as always. Stallone Media, you can obviously hear Matthew teach about his Twilight workflow through our webinar at learn.shootingspaces.net. You can go and buy that webinar. It's available for the $39 it costs. It is definitely an incredible value. Look, you're going to learn, you're going to see how Matthew edits, how Rich edits, two completely different styles, and you'll be able to master your Twilights. And what is it? Coffee Talk? Is that correct?
Coffee Talk with Stallone. Yep.
Okay. Coffee Talk.
Coffee.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
guys, come by, subscribe, and I'm gonna have Rich and Brian. I have some great questions for you guys.
Oh, you make me nervous.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll schedule that, and when we finish,
talk to my agent. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to Rich. Rich is my agent. Yeah. But if we end up on your podcast, we'll make sure to let everyone know over here to go ahead and listen to us over there. So it's going to be fun.
And I want to tell everybody to please subscribe to Shooting Spaces, as you probably are. But if you're not, do so and ask the guys. We have this opportunity to record a 90-second question for us, and occasionally we'll answer the question, but occasionally we'll get somebody like Matthew, a pro, and bring him on and talk for an hour about your question. So that really worked out well on this one. And
Matthew, if you have all these questions for us, just submit and ask the guys.
There you go.
We'll try to get to it.
We should do a list on your, at what questions to ask Brian and Rich, and then send them over to me.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, but Brian, what you got going on tonight? And you're gonna leave us here, and you're gonna go put your kiddies to bed. Oh, they're at bed right now.
9 o'clock. Yeah,
9 o'clock. Oh God. Okay, and you're busy and keeping working. Matthew's keeping working. I'm keeping working, and we just want to say thank you so much for checking out Shooting Spaces. Yeah. And
all right.
Whatever you do,
say it. Come on.
Yeah, whatever you do, go out and shoot some freaking spaces, okay? This episode of Shooting Spaces is brought to you by iGuide. iGuide makes it easy for you to quickly capture laser-accurate room measurements and square footage calculations, immersive 3D tours, detailed floor plans, and offer a complete listing solution to real estate agents and brokers. With iGuide, you stand out from your competition. Get your first 3 standard iGuide tours free by adding Shooting Spaces in the referral section at purchase. Visit goiguide.com to learn more.
This has been Shooting Spaces. For more episodes, visit shootingspacespodcast.com and visit our education site at shootingspaces.net.